official topics. So I've been warned, these people speak up. And we're just going to go through them, and if time runs out, they run out. And I may post them online. We also have an opportunity to continue this panel's proposed to New York Comic Con. So if you like what happens here, let us know. And we'll also try to propose it again next year. So the first one that we're going to talk about is blue is the warmest color. And just to let you know, the topics on this list, I kind of chose them based on if they made an exceptional impact to people who wouldn't normally follow that kind of material. And if you don't know about Blue is the Warmest Color, it's this French film that was released last year. It was based on a French graphic novel that was released in 2010. And there was a lot of controversy about that, and I'll let my panelists weigh in. But it's an award-winning movie, an award-winning graphic novel, and there's a lot of critical acclaim, both internationally as well as our own critics, nominating it for many, many films awards. And there was a good sizable base of people, primarily lesbians, because the story is about a lesbian coming out to herself and then getting involved with another woman, and then the plot lines diverge between the graphic novel and the movie. So those people who kind of either read the graphic novel first or saw the movie first can probably, if they saw the other version, may say, this is not quite the same thing. And I don't know if other members on the panel, if you've seen both or if you understand both, probably have a sense of where some of that dissatisfaction comes from.
Yeah, well, I think that what I learned from this is I, too, have a male gaze. So the deal is a lot of the criticism about the film is that the sex scenes were filmed with a male gaze, so there was no lesbians involved in the creating of it, and the two actresses were, felt really exploited. They spent a week making this torrid 10-minute sex scene, and but the bottom line is that the sex scene was really hot. So you kind of have to determine how much of a feminist you want to be around. But and the other thing too is the graphic novel was really great, and I totally get the criticism of the film based on the graphic novel. But I also know that the film sort of reignited interest in the graphic novel, and so they ended up having to re-release and print more copies of that. So I kind of thought that was a nice trade-off. Were the actresses exploited? Probably, but there's a lot of films, American films, where that's the case too. So, and again, really hot scene.
I think the thing is, I have to almost treat the graphic novel and movie as two different entities because the graphic novel is super dark. I don't want to know spoilers or anything, but it's
all about spoilers. So I can't handle spoilers. Leave now.
It's like a suicide letter, a diary about my love. I'm ready to do after my dad. It's very, very sad. And the main character has a different name than she does in the film, and it's just completely different. I think only the basic premise of seeing this girl with blue hair in the street and falling in love with her is what they have in common. So they use the name and they use the likeness, but I'm not surprised that the author Julie Merrill was this is not what I expected. But as far as the sex thing goes, I think it would be. I wonder if people would have a different, lesbians maybe specifically, would have a different impression of the sex scenes if we wouldn't have heard about all that behind-the-scenes stuff, because I had read so much about how terrible it was, and some of it seemed a little like they wanted to prove they were straight. Some of the actresses sometimes always mentioned their boyfriends and stuff, so I just don't know exactly how terrible it was for them, or if they felt like they had to do some justifying of their straightness in some movies. So
I think based on that scene, they really did need to justify their straightness.
They wanted people to know they used fake vaginas. They kept telling that all the time.
That scene was definitely a double-edged sword for the movie because it was probably one of the first things a lot of people heard about the film after it came. Every critic was like, this film is fantastic, has amazing performances, it's really poignant, which I think it actually is. It also has a really huge sex scene right in the middle of it. And I completely understand, I have to say, the criticism of that scene, because there were at least a couple shots in there that were lit and framed exactly like porn. Not French film porn, porn. And I think it wouldn't have gotten as negative a reception if they had just trimmed out some of that fat, frankly. And it could have been a 5-minute, really hot sex scene in the middle of a really strong film.
And I think my only real takeaway is, in terms of coming at it from the queer perspective, or comparing the two products to each other, I guess it's to your point, you know, you have to view them as completely different entities at times, is that I saw the movie first, and I kind of just thought, okay, you know, I think it's overrated. You know, I wasn't that impressed. But then I read the graphic novel, and I'm like, wow, I feel gypped, because, you know, if this is going to be the only way it's going to come to film, then they've lost a lot of the meat for what was appealing to me as an activist. You know, coming from a lesbian coming out identity perspective, that was in the graphic novel, that was not in the film. So it really kind of depends on, you know, which product you see first, and if you want to compare the two, but, you know, to each their own. Okay, the